over a year, Russian forces have been trying to push deeper into eastern Ukraine, with one goal in mind: capturing Pokrovsk. This city, once home to 60,000 people, lies at the center of a strategic chain of towns stretching toward Russia's border. After seizing the ruins of Avdiivka, Russian troops began their slow and costly advance, losing thousands of soldiers and hundreds of vehicles over just 40 kilometers. By early 2025, two large Russian field armies, each made up of multiple regiments, reached the outskirts of Pokrovsk. A Russian fiber optic guided FPV drone hit a Ukrainian soldier in the head but failed to explode. The Ukrainian soldier quickly left the area, still confused about what happened. Ukraine has launched a bold new cross-border operation that marks a new phase in its ongoing campaign to destabilize Russian defenses. This latest offensive is not just another raid. It is a calculated effort to open a new front, stretch Moscow's already thin lines, and expose critical weak points. With Russian troops still committed to repelling earlier Ukrainian advances at Belgorod and the initial push toward Kursk, the maneuver is designed to overload their command and force them to make reactive, costly decisions. Destroyed Russian Buk missile system deployed in Kursk Oblast of Ukraine. This artillery attack by the 93rd Mechanized Brigade completely destroyed a $1 million Russian military vehicle, while the high explosive ammunition in the vehicle created a huge explosion and smoke in the area. The Ukrainian 155th Mechanized Brigade carried out airstrikes on logistics routes in the Avdiivka and Pokrovsk regions. Many armored vehicles belonging to the Russian army were destroyed in the attacks. In the operation, carried out with unmanned aerial vehicles, around 20 armored vehicles were destroyed and 5 Russian tanks were destroyed. The hangar housing Russian logistics vehicles, which was detected by the Ukrainian 3rd Assault Brigade in the Zaporizhzhia region, was hit from inside by fiber optic guided FPV drones. The attack on the hangar belonging to the Russian army destroyed all the military vehicles inside. There were no Russian soldiers in the fire. Russian military vehicles are hidden in many places like this. In these footage, there is a Russian soldier alone in a field in Vovchansk. The Ukrainian kamikaze drone that is chasing the Russian soldier is trying to shoot the soldier. The Russian infantry is doing everything they can to shoot the drone. Since the drone is moving very fast, they cannot shoot it down. The soldier is getting tired and is now approaching the inevitable end. Ukrainian forces simultaneously launched artillery strikes on Tatino and clashed with Russian troops near the railway station, while their air units demolished a key bridge by the village of Zano, aiming to sever Russian supply lines and isolate defending units. These coordinated moves effectively crippled Russian movement and communications, setting the stage for a broader offensive toward Tatino. Ukrainian forces have launched a coordinated and strategic assault along the border, aiming to isolate vulnerable Russian forward positions already exposed on 3 sides. Combat engineers from the 47th Mechanized Brigade quickly established a pontoon crossing, breaking through Russian defenses with precision and speed. What first appeared to be a probing force soon revealed its true purpose, identifying Russian firing positions for destruction by waves of FPV drones, which now dominate the airspace and ruthlessly target Russian logistics routes. The decision by Ukrainian command to evacuate border settlements signals a much larger operation is underway. It's not just a tactical push, it's a signal that Ukraine is preparing for sustained, intensified combat operations and plans to solidify and expand territorial gains. In the second phase of this operation, advancing through the Novi Put direction, Ukrainian armored units, supported by elements of the elite Kraken regiment, bypassed the need for a full breaching assault. Instead, they took advantage of a known gap in Russia's Dragon's Teeth defenses, a vulnerability identified and left unaddressed since last September. After a brief mine-clearing effort, the Ukrainian units surged forward, catching Russian forces off guard and placing the key Russian positions in Tatkino in an immediate encirclement threat. If Russian troops choose to hold these positions stubbornly and then attempt to recapture them after a potential loss, they risk staggering casualties. Several Russian military analysts have warned that this might not even be Ukraine's main offensive, but rather a calculated feint intended to lure Russian reserves into the wrong sector while the real blow is delivered elsewhere. Should Ukrainian troops secure Tatkino and fortify it, they will be in a powerful position to disrupt deep Russian supply lines, possibly threatening the logistical core of the Kursk region. Importantly, combat units like the 3rd Assault Brigade, which withdrew from the earlier Kursk incursion without significant losses, remain combat ready. These battle-hardened troops can now be redeployed into this new offensive, further increasing Ukrainian momentum and putting Russian commanders in a reactive, overstretched position. The logical next objective would be Blushkov. Capturing terrain along the Seam River could cut Russian western supply corridors, isolate entrenched units, and pave the way for an expanded Ukrainian presence deep into Kursk Oblast. If achieved before or on May 9th, Russia's symbolic Victory Day, it would deliver not just a military blow, but a psychological one, darkening a day of celebration with the shadow of strategic failure. Success here would reverse many of Russia's recent territorial gains from March and April, boosting morale among Ukrainian forces and validating their border pressure strategy. This newest Kursk incursion, especially when viewed alongside the earlier Belgorod operation, is clearly part of a broader Ukrainian campaign to stretch Russian forces thin, paralyze reinforcements to the Eastern Front, and keep Moscow's military planners permanently on the back foot. After over a year of brutal combat in Vovchansk, the city has been reduced to rubble, a lifeless field of ruins, with barely a structure left untouched. Russian troops have taken to hiding in underground utility corridors and basements, using them as staging grounds for fresh assaults. Their attacks are relentless, with artillery, thermobaric systems, drones, and rocket salvos pounding the area without pause. But the defenders are holding firm. Along the banks of the Vovcha River, Ukrainian forces, including elite elements from the 93rd Mechanized Brigade Kolodny Yar, have repelled every Russian attempt to cross. Each failed push has come at a devastating cost for the invaders, as Ukrainian firepower continues to tear through advancing units.